Hello, welcome to this introduction to LINQ, a cloud-based platform which enables you to model the digital twin of your organization, then simulate change before you apply it in the real world. Modeling in LINQ helps you to communicate the impact of change to your decision makers, de-risk change and transformation programs, prioritize your implementation efforts, define your metrics for success, and articulate the benefit to the business of any change. First, a short story. I recently stayed with a well-known hotel chain on the Gold Coast in Australia. It was Sunday morning and I went down to the hotel restaurant to have breakfast. I was there with a group of friends who I was hoping to meet before we all headed home after the conference we'd been attending. I was surprised to find there was quite a queue to get into the restaurant. After patiently waiting in line for about 5 minutes, I finally got to the front and the staff asked me to fill in a paper form. They wanted to know my name, my room number, and my breakfast choice, whether I wanted the full buffet or the continental selection. At this point, I became a little frustrated. Why do they need this information from me? I'd already provided it all at check-in, and they knew whether I was entitled to breakfast or not from my booking. After handing my form over, I was asked to go and stand in a second queue. I waited here, a little less patiently, for another 5 minutes before one of the staff escorted me to my table. The table management system was another piece of paper, laminated, with lines struck through tables to indicate availability. I immediately started to wonder just how much this process was costing the hotel, so I modelled it using LINQ. My analysis showed that this one hotel could save nearly $350,000 a year in managing breakfast admissions alone. They could also save more than 14,000 hours of staff time per year. Given this hotel chain has more than 6,900 properties worldwide, globally this could save $2.4 billion and 96 million hours of time, and that's just for breakfast. So how did I come up with those numbers, and how long did it take me to do it? Let's take a look at the models I created, the current state of how the hotel manages admissions today, and a future state which removes the waste from the current process, which is where we get our savings from. So we'll now jump into LINQ and let's go through the sketches and our dashboards. This is the compare dashboard for the hotel scenario we've been talking about. Here we can see what happens in our current state, the total cost of operations being $739,000 a year, taking 26,500 hours. In our future state, where we've looked at removing the waste that's current in the processes today, we're bringing the cost down to $390,000 and 12,500 hours of time, saving nearly $350,000 and 14,000 hours. We can interrogate this dashboard to understand the systems that we're removing from the current processes and any systems we might be introducing, in this case none. We can also see the impact on people, and in this case we are not removing any people from the process and we're not having to hire anyone new into the hotel to do the work. We're still dealing with the customer, the front of house staff and the restaurant staff. So how do we get the data that powers this dashboard? This is the current state sketch for the hotel scenario we've been discussing. It's made up of the connection between actions that are performed, the information that's created or is required to enable actions to be performed, the people who are doing the work, the systems that automate work, and the systems that provide us with our information or store it. For example, here is the paper slip being printed by the restaurant staff using the printer. It creates the paper slip. This paper slip then enables the seating review to take place based on the number of people who are coming into the restaurant. Here's another action, escorting and allocating the guests to their table. Over here we've got storing the slip for later, performed by the restaurant staff. It's again on the piece of paper, and that paper slip then enables the reconciliation of the bill to take place so that the bill is created properly for the guest. We've got costs of all of our actions based on the hourly rate of restaurant staff and the time and duration of the actions that take place. This allows us to calculate the cost of creating each of these information assets that we need to deliver our business outcomes. We won't spend too much time in the sketch. Instead, we're going to jump into LINQ's insights where we can get a really good overview of what's going on in this part of the business. So the current state for this one hotel costs them $739,000 a year, and it takes 26,500 hours of time to do the work. None of the processes are automated. We can have a look at the systems that are in use. Here we can see the paper and the printer, and this is the hotel management system. We can understand the impact of these systems on how content flows through the business in order to allow us to do the work. We can see the impact of the hotel management system on the flow of information through this part of the business, and the two information assets which are provided by this system, the guest bill and the guest details in the hotel management system. We can look at the total cost of creating the assets that we need to enable our business to work. So it's costing us $500,000 a year to ensure that the guest bill's correct, as an example. We can also start to think about the impact of change. Through this sketch, we've used tags to help us understand actions that we might remove from the process to make things more efficient. So if we select this tag, we can see by removing the actions which have been greyed out in the sketch, we can impact the operational cost of this part of the business by $327,000 a year, saving 13,500 hours. With all of these insights, we're able to take a look at a future state. So the state we'd like to get to, where we are removing wastage from our processes, potentially automating actions or removing parts of the process because they're not needed if we were to do things in a different way. So let's look at that next. This is the future state that we've come up with for our hotel. It starts down here at check-in just as before. So the front of house staff use the hotel management system to check the guest in, creating the guest details in that system. And instead of printing paper, we now have the guest arriving at the front desk in order to enter the restaurant for breakfast, just providing their room number, which is checked against their entitlement coming from the record in the hotel management system. The hotel management system provides those guest entitlement details, and based on whether they are or are not entitled to breakfast, the bill is updated automatically by the hotel management system, ensuring that the bill is always correct. We also provide the hotel management system to the restaurant staff to provide the availability of seating in the restaurant. So the entire process is completely efficient. We've removed the paper, we've removed the need for the printer. And all of this is represented now in the insights that LINQ's providing. So we can see the total cost of operating is $390,000 a year. It only takes 12,500 hours a year to do the work. And we've increased automation from 0 to 16.7%. This is where the hotel management system is performing actions automatically, such as updating the bill. We can see this reflected in the system summary as well, where we now only have one system in place, the hotel management system. We can see how the cost of creating our assets has been dramatically reduced. So the guest bill, which was costing us $500,000 a year to keep up to date, is now only costing us $129,000 a year. It's the data from these two sketches, the current state and the future state, that allow us to use the compare function in LINQ. Imagine after only half a day's work being able to go to your executive and help them understand how in just one part of your organisation you could save $350,000 of operating cost a year with some pretty straightforward changes to the business. This is the power of LINQ. To find out more, to learn about our customers, to read our case studies, and to start your free trial, just head to our website, www.linq.it. We look forward to helping you model a digital twin of your organisation. Thanks for listening.